thought this is a very obnoxious song. Kerry Hilson, Pretty Girl Rock. I like the production though. Yeah, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. That's like, it's like weird girly tendencies to throw out there. Like, oh my God, like Mean Girl, High School Mean Girl stuff. But it's a cute song. 6:50, here's somebody cute who's just stepped into the studio, starting her day on 959. She's a doctor, a keynote speaker, a change maker, and many have come to love and know her as a pediatrics registrar that wakes everyone up on Instagram with her loud...
Good morning, everybody.
Yes, that's the one. A fully qualified doctor in 2015, she has broken the mold of a stereotypical medical practitioner with over 150,000 followers on Instagram. Dr. Khanyile.
Dr. Khanyile.
Absolutely. She uses her influence to engage, uplift, and educate, and also annoy her husband. Like the things you do to that man on Instagram.
Okay, but he loves me, so
I know.
he'll be fine.
I know.
But he loves me.
Yeah, well, he loves me. Welcome. Thank you so much for starting your day on 959. Are you well?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm well. How are you guys?
Look well. No, we're great. We're absolutely great.
Super.
So we've been talking about gratitude this morning. What are you most grateful for? When you look at the beginning of your career and the journey and the path and where you are now, do you pinch yourself sometimes when you think of how far you've come and the strides? Yeah.
All the time. I think, when you think about God and the things that He's done for me, the places He's put me in, medicine is a very challenging career because yes, it's prestigious, and yes, you have the honor of taking care of people, but the things you have to do and the challenges you have to go through to get there really takes a lot of perseverance. And I thank God for just helping me get through there and giving me the people in my life to really support me, my family, my friends, some of the supporters I have and the fans that I have on social media. It really makes it worth it. And a husband who absolutely just, guys, Marriage is like a gift, and I see why they say it's a gift from God.
Yeah. So with the signature that you've just done, the good morning. Please do it again. Quick, fast.
Good morning, everybody.
Do you ever forget to do it, or do you have a reminder? Do you set a reminder, or is it like naturally in you now?
No, it's just a thing that happens. So some days I won't do it just because it gets so busy, and then I'll get my DMs, and they're like, "Excuse me, ma'am. What do you think this is?
To the good morning.
Can you please step up?" And then it's just also a reminder every day to wake up and greet the world. Be grateful for what you have and say, "I'm here. We are here."
What inspired it?
Actually, it's so weird because I didn't even know that I did it. It was one of those things where I was just doing it on social media and I didn't do it the one morning, and someone DM'd me and it's like, with the video, "Good morning, everybody." And I was like, oh, this is a thing. And then it became a consistent thing that happened all the time.
You have really decided that being a doctor does not restrict you from being you, looking at your social media, how you engage, how you interact there. You really have normalized medical practice. Like you said, it's prestigious, right? And you've brought it down to... You've humanized it. You really, really have, and you've done that so well. Why was that? Why was it important for you to actually do that?
I think I saw a lot of the mental illness that affected medical professionals. These are people who are successful, high functioning, they're saving lives, but why is it that they feel so inadequate within themselves, right? And so I realized that people put us on a pedestal as medical professionals, and they expect so much of us. And that also then becomes internalized. So I wanted people to see that, like, listen, even me, I get tired. I also get frustrated. I also get emotional, but more importantly, I love my job, but it's hard. So how do I go through that and say, these are the challenges and this is annoying, but I really love being here. I want you to see the human behind it so that when you understand that as medical professionals, we get tired too. It's not because we don't care. It's because I haven't eaten for 16 hours. I'm exhausted.
That's crazy.
So people don't think we don't eat. And people think you don't forget. You forget. You're so busy running
saving
around.
Lives, actually.
And not even saving lives. Sometimes you're just protecting your reputation as an intern because you don't want your senior to shout at you, because then they're going to make you do 13 other things. And so you're like, I'll eat just now. Oh, but there's 13 patients on the bench. Let me just see 5 and then I'll go and eat. And you never do.
Okay, let's take it back a bit, right? Tell us about the young Nokukhanya Khanyile. Where was she raised? How was that upbringing?
So I was raised in the south of Alberton, in about Meyersdal, downside.
Hey.
I went to Alberton High. Whoop whoop, I saw it. And then when I matriculated there in 2009, I then went to varsity. So from 2010. So I was like first year 2010. What a mob! What a time!
Yeah.
So I went to the University of the Witwatersrand, but my parents, split, and my mom then went to live in Florida. So I was between Florida and Alberton with my parents.
I've noticed sometimes like a divorce of parents really ruins a kid, like destroys kids. How did you deal with that?
It can, but again, God, he really
can be truly a blessing.
It can, because with my parents, I think God knew what to put in them to make sure that, like, listen, we are going through our own thing, but you as our child is still our child. So they helped me, grow. They still supported. They had to like co-parent. I was doing netball and badminton, and I was presenting, and I was doing modeling. So they had to talk a lot to get me to wherever I needed to go. And I think it was also really easy for them because, like, I was a bit crazy because I was like,
nothing's changed.
You still are. Yeah.
Nothing's changed. Absolutely nothing.
But I think it was easy because then, like, there was a lot of support from family, and it was accolades and stuff. So they were like, yeah, okay, at least it's paying off.
Well, you sound like you're from a very solid family background, and there's even a touch of political history there. Is it your dad?
100%.
Yeah.
My dad is one of the members of parliament, and so he really, when we were younger, I used to go and sit in Congress meetings with him. So
that's wild.
Yeah, so it was really annoying because, like, it was so long. It was only 4 hours. Now 4 hours you can, like, sit and watch 4 series. But there was no internet. There was just like solitaire on the computer. There was no like phones back then. So I listened to see and saw how people communicated with one another. I really got like hands-on experience with that, and just seeing how we integrated with the community in the urban, rural, township areas. How he kind of navigated those conversations was just, it's a blessing to have that experience. Yeah.
I want to bring it into your personal space, and reason being, you have also invited us into that space on your Instagram. You've seemed to be a person who's not shy to share their love life and happiness online, and many were introduced to you that way. And I mention this obviously because we see the commentary on social media from another doctor, Dr. Musa Mtombeni, who's also quite similar.
The most annoying person in South Africa.
Yeah, I love he is the definition of Maktua Indoda Idlisiwe.
Yeah, no,
and
I love
Yona Isjiso.
I love the way he that's who he is. He's always been that person. And people are like, why is he like this? I'm like, no.
You don't know him. Yes. And he's found his happy place and his happy pill and his partner, right? His gift from God. He openly loves his wife, gets flax for it. I don't understand why as a society we're like this. I don't understand why particularly with black love, when a black man openly is a fool for his love unashamedly, and literally openly embraces, loves, and puts his woman on a pedestal. Stuff like that, and silly things, And you do it as well. You get the same do you get the same feedback from people with the stuff that you do with your husband?
I don't get the same feedback from them because in a way it's kind of expected that as a woman you're supposed to wholeheartedly and endearingly love your husband.
Yes.
And I'm just like, so him and I don't actually do different things. We just are different genders, so now it looks like we should be doing different things. And I always get so entertained by some of the comments because for me, people are like, oh, we love your relationship, we love seeing how you annoy him and what. And also, my husband's very serious on social media. In real life, he's a Popeye. So it also goes to show that like social media is what you put out there.
Yeah, true.
Because when we're together, he's actually more of a clown than I am.
Is it? Yeah. You guys have a lot of fun on your socials. It is top of the hour now, 6:58. We're hanging out with Dr. Khanyile. We're going to be talking about mental matters and more. Another thing that you don't know about Dr. Khanyile, she's very vocally inclined.
If she was Indian, it should be Dr. Singh.
Bars.
Oh my gosh, that was such a lazy joke actually. I expect better from you.
I know, right? That's like a dad joke.
That's like
a proper dad joke.
Proper dad joke. Oh my gosh. Speaking of dad jokes, well, you have the dad of your child in studio with you.
Beep.
So they do everything together. So they're here, he's just like, running around the studio doing
content.
Doing content. So thank you so much. I think, we can never thank you enough, because I mean, it's a lot from your busy schedule to come and start your day on 959 with us. We truly appreciate it. What's the one thing about being a mom that you truly appreciate?
So being a doctor, I always see kids at different points in time.
Yeah.
Being a mom, I get to see the growth as it happens. Like every day, I get to see new changes. Yeah. And like, it's so incredible to me that this person who is like not able to walk, not able to talk, starts learning small and small increments over time. And you expect them to do this thing now, but she's like, no, I'll get there. And then when she gets it, you're like, oh my gosh, everybody look, she's doing it. Yes. So I get it, like the excitement and the growth, but it also like is a reaffirmation to take it one day at a time. Don't rush, you'll get there.
And I think it's not limited to only your own child, because I mean, you're in pediatrics, right? So you have this journey with other people's children as well. Yeah. Did you study pediatrics because you love children, or did you just fall in love with children from being a pediatric registry?
So when you do internship, you go through all the specialities. Yeah. And so I always wanted to do something clinical. So I didn't want to do surgery. Yeah. So I wanted to do more clinical medicine, which is like examining, diagnosing, kind of managing that way. Yeah. Pediatrics happened because children have an incredible way of just like making themselves feel better. And they respond so quickly to your management, which was really reassuring, versus adult medicine, which people like really don't take care of themselves sometimes. They come in so sick, and at that point there's nothing you can do. So for me, it was just so great that a mom could look at me one day and say, my child is dying, and I'd be like, I see that. And literally the next day, it's like a different situation. That child is almost ready for discharge. It's so enlightening, and it makes me so happy to be in pediatrics because of that change that kids do.
23 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning, Dr. Khanyile at Dr_Khanyile on Instagram. Are we tweeting the site? Are you on Twitter?
We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok.
Fantastic. Oh, I've not seen you on TikTok.
No, TikTok is it absorbs you.
It does.
So I need to make sure I have time for TikTok. Yeah. Because if it's one video that takes you to the top, so
absolutely.
I need to pace myself with TikTok.
Absolutely. TikTok is very absorbing. So, mental matters.
Yes.
I want us to get into that. You're a very layered human being, and I love your layerings, right?
Thank you.
You have a side of you that is very focused on mental awareness. You've got the layering of pediatrician. You've got the layering of social influencer, fitness girl, mom, natural hair enthusiast, right? All of these live under one umbrella. Do they? With you?
Definitely. So so just going back to my training, we have something called a biopsychosocial approach to health. Biological is the stuff you go to the hospital for, the supplements you take. Psychological is what happens with your relationships, interpersonal, your personal relationships. And then there's the social, which a lot of us don't really pay attention to, but it impacts us the most. Things like how you interact with other people, how the world affects you, employment, all of that. So I try as much as I can to live the practice I try to teach my patients, so that it's easier for them to say, okay, or so that I can also understand their challenges when I ask them for management plan and they're unable to do certain things because of other challenges. So it makes it easier for me to work,
So what's Mental Matters? I believe you're the vice president there?
Yeah, so Mental Matters is an organization I started with a friend of mine. Her name is Gugu Masondo. She's actually the president. And she's actually living with mental conditions, and she's going through the whole process to either, get herself to whichever place she feels she needs to be. And so what I find is that a couple of years ago, she invited me to a seminar where we had a couple of people who were living with mental conditions, people who were medical professionals, and just people who just had an interest in it. And we kind of shared between healthcare providers and, people who actually have to do the plans that these people give you. And we realized that there was a lot of disconnect because I'm prescribing medication, but it has side effects, so it affects you. And I don't know that as a doctor. I just write the thing. So I need to be more aware of that. Yeah. And so Mental Matters aims to bridge that gap between you and the healthcare system so that we're able to find solutions that are more easier to implement in your life. And we have that with seminars, online sessions, and just talks that we do to improve people's mental and physical health as well.
You've added author to your list of layerings.
Yes.
And I think the cutest thing, and I think I like seeing this with authors of late, right? There's a lot of people that are focusing on children's content.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's so important. There's not enough of it, particularly in South Africa. On television, it's a lot of adult content, right?
Correct,
in books and so forth. And it's beautiful for me to watch black human beings starting to be cognizant of how important it is to cater for children.
Yes.
Holistically. And in the reading space, this is absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much.
Talk to me about this book. How do you pronounce it? TD Talks.
Yes.
TD Talks. TD.
Oh, TD. I'm saying TD.
I'm also saying TD.
Hey, man.
I guess
I'm a problem.
TD Talks, period. Oh, this is beautiful. We're talking to our little girls and boys about the menstrual cycle from an early age.
Correct, but not just them, their parents as well, because we find that a lot of information gets missed. Because as kids, we also didn't get that information shared to us, right? We also had stigmas and all this like confusing behavior around it. And one of the most interesting things we found was that boys don't really know how to use a pad. Simple things like how long a period lasts, what happens when you get your period. And you assume that because it gets taught in school, you should know this, right?
Can I see?
So yes, of course.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you brought the books.
Yes, take one pass down.
So what we've realized is myself, Farah Fortune. So Farah actually came to me. She is, the flagship behind the Pad Run, which is an organization.
She's a publicist, right?
Yeah,
love
Yes,
Farah.
And then we brought in my friend Thandazile Ndlovu, who is a foundation phase educator. She teaches grade 3 boys at Pridwin Prep. And what we realize is that a lot of people don't know the language to introduce this topic to their kids. It's like, okay, I'll wait until they figure it out, or I'll wait till they have their period. And then the language is, don't get pregnant. Okay, but I don't even know what's happening to my body. How must I stay away from boys now? But I've been playing with boys my whole life, and now I just can't, So we want to have healthy conversations with people, but between parents, between generations, but also on the playground. You don't want to learn about this from your friends who also are leading the blind.
Absolutely. I think it's very important to have, open conversations with your children. And I mean, you mentioned something very important. As parents, we struggle to find the language to introduce such conversations. So if you're authoring in this space right now, it's also educational for us as parents, and I think this is intentional, right?
Definitely.
It helps us find the language to actually just, engage our children where it matters the most. So, Mommy dearest, I've got and I love that you seem like a human being that if I consult with you, I would most probably feel my safest at your practice.
Thank you.
And I hope that this filters down to your children as well, that, for everything you do for the world and society, that they actually feel safe with you as well. When they are at an age to engage you at this level. Because you seem like a safe person.
Thank you.
You really, really do. I've got a call for you. You're going to have to guess who's on the line right now.
A call?
Yeah, you do have a call, actually. Listen to this one. Do you think you might know who this might be? Good morning.
Dr. Nokukhanya Khanyile.
Oh, Nana Bay, what's up in the building? Hi, Mommy.
Hello, Angel. And hello, my son-in-law, Lesotho.
He's saying hello from behind the camera. He's shooting content, your son-in-law.
Her favorite person.
Yes.
Sweet.
She's such a live wire in the morning.
She is.
I've taught Nokukhanya that you don't have to be a morning person or an evening person. That's a choice you have. And I'm so proud of you, Nokukhanya, and I'm so proud of the choices that you've made. Yes, being a single parent and, co-parenting with your dad has been challenging, but you realize that we're going to have blended families. As we navigate life, and incredibly proud of you, Nokukhanya, and love Lesotho, and my adorable, little pokey, monkey, little granddaughter, Lydia Pullo.
Yeah, love you, Ma.
Oh,
I'm not going to talk because then the more I talk, I'm going to cry.
Thank you so much for calling, Mama.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you so much for calling. You've birthed an angel doing great work in society and in her own family. Thank you so much, Nokukhanya, for shining your light. Siyabonga indlu yethu kwethu this morning. Thank you.
Nokukhanya has been a true gift for me, and the light that she's such a little light bulb. And I'm so proud, and I'm thank God that she found her purpose in life, that she's a a small person doing big things with an awesome God.
Absolutely.
And, very grateful for the gift that you are, Nokukhanya,
and
you, also that you brought Little Flo into my life, and Little Flo, that you chose the gender of my adorable little grandchild.
Oh, honey.
Ooh, my mom said
Thank
it.
you,
Yes.
Dineo.
You're welcome, Mumsy.
Thank you, so.
Thank you, Mamzo.
Thank you, Nana Bay. In a building. Nana Bay in a cut. Thank you so much. We generally do love to be on time for our news and our sports and all those updates that you really need, as well as our traffic. But every now and again, when we do run late for a worthy cause, I mean, we can ease it up a little bit. So thank you. Thank you so much. Diddy Talks, where do we find this? Is it available in bookstores?
It is available on takealot.com, amazon.com. Just Google it. You can find us everywhere.
Beautiful.
Follow us at TD Talks Series on Instagram.
Beautiful.
And keep up to date with what we're doing on our social media platforms.
And that is at Dr. Khanyile, at Dr._Khanyile on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and everywhere else. Thank you for starting your day on 959.